Administrative partitions. So what is administrative partition? It's you can think about it like a folder. On desktop, we usually create multiple folders to organize related objects. So if I have pictures and photos, I put in one folder. If I have Word document for a specific project, I put in one folder, another project separate folder, personal, legal papers, etc., etc. So the way we organize related objects is folders on our desktop. Administrative partitions in Big IB is very similar to the uh, to folders. If I draw on a whiteboard, we take an example. Let's say we have our web app 1. Sorry, it's flipped. Start again here. Let's say we have web app 1. So the web app 1 as an application will have virtual server object. It will have a pool with nodes, and then we have web app 2 with another VS, another pool, nodes, and so on and so forth. So within the organization, we have multiple apps that are using the Big IB. Now, by default, everything we create will be created in the common folder or common partition, the terminology of Big IB partition. So if we go to the Big IB on the node list, you will see it is in the partition common. Now, go to the virtual server, it's in the partition common. Go to the pool, same partition. The point here is, within the organization, if we have another business unit, like kind of within the same organization, two business units, their applications are not related to each other. So, and you are asked to use or to utilize the Big IB for both business units. What you can say is to make it a bit more organized, or to assign different administrators. If you want to assign different administrators for these objects versus other objects. This is the default. Admin, and then you want to create admin 2 to manage the objects for the other business unit. For example, they have web app 5, they have their own virtual server, pool, and nodes. So as I said, this is a different business unit. They have a Big IB administrator, and they want you to create objects for them on your Big IB appliance, but they want to manage. So what you can do is, you can come to the Big IB, go to Systems, Users, Partition List. By default, we have the common. We cannot delete this partition. This is the default one. So what we can do is we can create new partition, call it business unit 2, right? And click finish. Now we have partition 2. What we need to do now is to create objects for the other business unit for them to be in partition business unit 2. The way we do that is on the top right, you can switch between partitions. So if I am the super admin of the device, if I want to create their objects, I will switch to partition 2, go to the local traffic manager, go to node, and create nodes for them, like node 5, give it any IP address, click finish. Now you can see that the object node 5 sits in the partition business unit 2. Same for the pool. As long as I am in BU2 partition, any object I create, it will be in that partition. So nodes, we will, node 5, port 80, click add. See, if you want to add one node from one partition to a pool from a different partition, you can still do that because you are the super admin. We will test it now with the user 2, admin 2. So we created the pool. Now, so far, we created partition, we created 2 objects inside partition. So in this way, me as the super admin of the big IB, I created a partition and I'm placing objects in that partition. So it could be the case that there will be no separate admin for business unit 2. It's just me. I wanted to organize, I wanted to keep different business units in different partitions. But if we have admin who will manage the partition business unit 2, we need to assign him privilege on that partition. So let's go back to users. Let's create admin 2. Give him a password. We will make him a manager on this partition. Manager on this partition. As of now, we will not give him terminal access. Click finish. Now let's open separate window to the big ID. Admin 2, the password. You see, we are placed in partition 2 and we cannot change because I'm not an admin. I'm not super admin. If I go to the local traffic, nodes, you can see the nodes from the other, but it's read only. You cannot change. But your own partition node, you can. You can create a new node called node 6, any IP address. So you as a manager, your role is manager on the partition business unit 2. You can create objects, you can delete or modify your own objects, not the objects of the other partitions, because you are manager on this partition only. So let's test with the pool that we own as admin 2. Let's assign it a health monitor. I have two nodes that they actually not real nodes. Let me try to add one of the real nodes that we have, server 1 on port 80. Click finish. Let's see if the node will become green as we assign the, oh, we didn't click update. So we assign the health monitor and click update. Let's go back. Yeah. Let's try further. Let's go to the virtual servers. Let's create our virtual server, bu2 vs. Let's give it a name, 92.168.100.88, port 80, and we should link with the pool that we created and click finish. So we have working virtual server. Let's test from the testing machine. Let's first try by doing a ping 192.168.100.88, which we can. Let's open the IP address with the browser, 88. Let's see the gateway on Windows Server 1. We'll check the gateway. So checking the gateway, yeah, we see that the gateway is not the big IP. This is when we did the source NAT, the SNAT lab. So we can fix this by configuring the server with the big IP as a gateway, or we can enable the SNAT on the virtual server. Let's go back to the testing machine. Now we can see that we have server 1 because in the business unit 2 pool we have only server 1 available. Those are not real servers. So even we are in a partition business unit 2, we can still use the objects from the parent partition, which is the common partition. So one of the use cases or scenarios that you can use the different partitions is if I am the big IP admin and I have maybe one or two other uh, administrators that I want to assign them different privileges on the big IP. So what I can do is I can create the nodes still in the common partition, node 1, node 2, node 3, node 5, node 6, node 7, 8, node maybe 9, 10, node 11, node 12. These are still in the common. Then I can create partition 1. I can create partition 2. I can create admin 1, admin 2, and I make each admin as a manager on his own partition, his assigned partition. Then the admin can create his own pools, pool 1, pool 2, pool 11, pool 12, up to them. They can create their own virtual servers. It's up to them. In this way, I still have the nodes created in the common, which can be accessed by both partitions. They can see, they cannot modify, but they can see. And they can create their own pools, so they can use their own load balancing method. They can use their own health monitor, the way they want to check the servers. They can use their own properties on the virtual server with encryption, without encryption, etc., etc. So I give them flexibility to define the way they want to deliver the application to the end users, but at the same time, the common resources, the nodes created under the common. So each admin 1 is manager on part 1, partition 1, can do whatever he wants, pools, virtual servers, and admin 2 is also manager on partition 2, and he can create his own pool, his own virtual servers, etc., etc.